Hello, and welcome to My Point of View Movie Reviews. Let's go back in time with another retro joint. 007. Roger Moore is back as James Bond in For Your Eyes Only. Now, this movie came out in 1981, 2 years after Moonraker. Now, Moonraker, full of cheese, full of camp, full of jokes. Now, this movie did a total 180. This movie was very serious. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of little pieces of cheese and camp in this movie as well. Not nearly the same as Moonraker. Now, this movie came out, like I said, in 81. Now, the music during that time was very different. And the music back then sounded like this. I'm like, what the hell am I watching? A beginning of a porno? Or sound like Shaft's going to jump out at any time with a gun, be like, hey, hands up, sucker. The score in this movie is horrible. Had that 80s music to it. Even when they played the James Bond theme throughout the movie, it added that little disco touch. Man, it was terrible. But on a good note, Sheena Easton did the title song for the movie, For Your Eyes Only. Back then, she was pure, innocent, very naive and white. For your eyes only. And then a couple of years later, she hooked up with Prince, and she was singing like this. You got the look. You must have took just an hour to put on your makeup, baby. Totally changed and flipped that woman out. But back to the plot of this movie. Now, early on, in the very beginning, they sink this ship, and you wonder why. It was carrying nuclear missile codes on this ship. They sank it. The Greece people did, and the main villain's name is Cristofo. And what he tried to do is grab the codes and sell them to the enemy, which is Russia. Of course, James Bond has to come to the rescue. This movie takes place in Corina and also in Greece mainly, and a little bit in England. But the great thing about this movie, the action, again, in a James Bond movie is incredible. In the very beginning, there's this car chase scene involving James Bond's car earlier, then it gets blown up. Then later on, this little Volkswagen is going through this like jungle, getting chased by a couple of cars. Very compelling, very, very smooth. I love it. Then later on in Corina, in the ice up in the Alps, out of all the James Bond movies that takes place in the snow, this is the best. This is 30 years ago and they still can't mess with it. I'm telling you, man, the stunts in the snow, they got people skiing behind a bobsled, going through the tunnels, being chased by a motorcycle in the snow, jumping over top of rooftops, on top of tables and skiing. The stunts in this movie are incredible. Now, James Bond has all the beauties again, once again in this movie, gorgeous women. Unlike Moonraker, he didn't sleep with everybody in this movie. He had a chance to sleep with this beautiful blonde, but he actually turned her down. Homegirl got naked and everything, was waiting for him in the bed. James said, look, I know your uncle, you're way too young. Passed up some booty. Now, he did get some ass by two other women later on in the movie. You know, James got to get his. But Roger Moore, again, very debonair, very smooth. Again, this movie took James Bond a little bit more serious, took away from the camp. Now, the villain was not good in this movie. The antagonist was sorry. The villain's little side men, not good. You don't remember none of the villains. All you remember are the good guys in this movie. Very beautiful women and James Bond himself. But, again, the close out of this movie in the third act, compelling. He's climbing these mountains. There's a very breathtaking scene where he's climbing and the guy's knocking out the things with the hammer. He's about to fall to his death. Very good. I love, again, the team that he built. It's one of the few times he meets a group of people and they team up together. He has like 7 or 8 people on the side fighting the villain. So that part was kind of cool. But On a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 6. But hey, I love Roger Moore and I love James Bond. Hey, it's on Netflix. Give it a try. James Bond 007 does it again, and for your eyes only. Hey, like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments down below. It's just my point of view. I have to admit, for a James Bond movie, this movie has some jump scares. There's a scene in this movie where he's entering this compound. He's trying to be very quiet. He's walking through the woods and taking a peek, and hears some crackling in the back. Some like, man, what's that behind me? He goes to go investigate, and out of nowhere, this dude jumps out of a tree. Man, I jumped out the damn couch. It got me. James Bond got jump scares in this movie. And there's another scene, they're under the water trying to escape, and this shark comes out of nowhere. I was like, damn, James. Yeah, James Bond got jump scares. Believe you me.